It's Prowl as an owl. Does that make you scowl? Transmetal 2's Beast Wars Prowl, today on Guerrilla Reviews. Okay, yes. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, this is a very different version of Prowl as opposed to his normal police car mode. Now, this is essentially the second Prowl actually released in the Beast Wars line, because in the initial Beast Wars, when they just had beasts, Prowl was a lion that was part of the combiner Magnaboss. I have seen it. It's not exactly a inspiring mold for me, but I'll see if I get a good deal on Magnaboss. I'll pick it up. I'll probably pick it up Triprocus first, but we'll see how well that goes. But yes, this is the Transmetal 2 version of Prowl, as a very interesting owl here. Obviously, mine has a bit of a bending here and there, but it also has a very interesting gimmick. Now, what I initially thought this gimmick was, this works fairly well. Essentially, if you press this little button right here, the head spins around. Unfortunately, that's not quite what the gimmick's initially for. I'll get that in a little bit. But as I initially saw it, this was actually a fairly good gimmick. Not too obtrusive. But when we get to what it's really for, oh, the sadness. The sadness. Oh, and additionally, you can also have the wings like this, to have them kind of perched. Hey, if Animorphs can do it, so can a Transformer. Okay, getting him into his robot mode, first we'll fold this part out and disconnect it from the back here, which kind of does it on its own already. Then we will bring out these parts right here, bring this down like so to form his lower half. Then we'll twist this whole assembly around like so. Then kind of press these wings like so. Then we'll peg in what were the exhaust ports on an owl into there. Then we'll fold these in like so. Okay. Now we'll twist this part around like so to reveal the spark crystal, which is, yeah, that's a little strange. Okay, next we will move this flap, move this up, and there we go. Transmetal 2 Prowl in robot mode. Now with the Prowl here, we do see some very decent light piping there, along with some forearm piping, because these are clear plastic, so the possibility of these breaking is there, but not as likely since it's not actually a structural element. But still, it's a possibility. Anyway, you're probably noticing it doesn't come with any weapons. That's because of that gimmick I showed you earlier. It actually works a little differently than I thought. How it's supposed to work is you move these wings like so. And then when you press the button, it's supposed to turn these wings around like a sort of turbine. But due to its own heft and the way that the joints work, it doesn't do that very well. Yeah, if you get... Hey, jeez. Okay, let's just hang this up right here now. Leave it as a head spinning gimmick, and it's fine. As its intended gimmick, it's a disaster. But there we go. Prowl. Prowl's little gimmick. Obviously, with all things, there's going to be a few things that don't quite cut the mustard. Oh well. As for articulation, since we are in the age of the ball joint, head is ball jointed, shoulders are ball jointed, along with the elbows, waist swivel, but hey, that's mostly due to the way that it has to transform, ball jointed hips, hinge joint for the knees, and a dual ball joint for the upper and lower ankle. So he can get a fair amount of poses out of him, just a matter, even with all the kibble on him, so that's something. Well, that wraps up this Guerrilla review. I am the Deceptive Wolf. This has been Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Prowl. And again, I remind you all, free your mind, free your toys.